So you've not passed your driving test, have you? And it happens. It happens to my students sometimes where they don't pass, and it is quite upsetting for most people, because it's a shock to them. Because if you've been driving fine and you're quite confident, and your instructor saying you're driving fine, and even on the test you drive fine and you don't pass, it is a shock for you, and that's what probably hurts people more than anything. At that point, they've driven really well. Sometimes you've got people who take the test and they don't drive very well, and they know they're not going to pass, and they don't pass. So that's not much of a shock for them. But when you have driven really well and they say to you, unfortunately, you've not passed, and they tell something that you've not really done, it is a shocker. Now, what you've got to remember is, don't be too upset. It is upsetting at the time when it happens to you, but when you get home and you calm down, there'll be an email about the result of the driving test, and what you've got to remember is you just need to work on the mistakes. If you're one of these people who you drove really badly on the driving test and it's way below par, and that's probably the reason why you failed, then it's probably nerves affecting you at that point there. So there's things you can do about that. So like I say, you can sit yourself down with your family member or your instructor and come up with a plan of how you can cope with them nerves. So if it's nerves, focus on the nerves. If it's the fact that the driving test was just too hard for you and you wasn't good enough, then you just need to kind of reassess your training, work on the areas that you didn't really understand, because it might be something's cropped up that you've not really covered. And don't be too disheartened. Just work on the mistakes, get back in there and retake the driving test. That's what you've got to say, because otherwise what will happen is you'll be saying to yourself, I'm not taking my driving test now for another few months or another 3 months because I want to make sure I'm perfect. No one's perfect. No one's perfect. I mean, occasionally you'll get someone put a comment, say, oh, I passed today, 0 minors. Fantastic, everything worked out from that day. But most people pass with some kind of faults. And remember, when you're driving around and you've seen this, and you're going to say, oh yeah, I've seen these, you're driving around and you'll see other drivers doing mistakes around you, not signalling, drifting, stalling the car. So they all do mistakes even after they pass the driving test. So if you're one of them people out there who you want perfection, and there are a few people out there who want perfection, they don't want to take your driving test until I know everything's perfect, then you just got to take a little chill pill and just say to yourself, right, okay, I just need to be good at driving to a good standard where my instructor is happy with my driving and I'm happy with the driving. But you know, as long as I can kind of limit the mistakes, then I'm fine. But I'm never going to be perfect. No one's perfect. All right. Everyone makes mistakes. We're all human, and that's what you got to remember, is not to worry if you make a mistake. All right. If you are one of these people who do suffer from nerves, and the thought of taking the driving test is going to turn you into gibbering wreck, then you can prepare for that test. You can take some mock tests if you have to, or what you could do is do some reading on it. There's some ebooks. I'll put a link in the description for online ebooks from an instructor that I know, quite good. And there's other things out there. You can get herbal remedies. You can have a banana, that helps. Things like that. I think it's potassium inside that. But I could be wrong, so someone's going to tell me if it's wrong. But I suppose the bottom line is, if you are suffering from nerves, prepare for the test. You know, do some mock tests and just give yourself that opportunity to kind of get used to the test scenario. You're doing the right thing now, watching a video. So don't be afraid, and remember, don't have to look for perfection, just got to be safe. Okay, take care, good luck, and if it's your second or third test, just keep your chin up, try not to get too disheartened. Safe driving.